This is going to be kind of a different style of video format that you usually don't see on my channel. This is where I just talk about stuff unscripted and then I edit in visuals later. I want to talk about for a bit what I call the phantom English subtitle translation for Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Hayao Miyazaki's second theatrical feature that ultimately led to the creation of Studio Ghibli and that whole lineage. I must say, I've seen most of Miyazaki's work, and I still think those first two non-Ghibli features are my favorite film works of his. My favorite work of him is the Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind manga, which I feel elaborates a lot more in its entire duration on a lot of the themes that the Nausicaa film was, attempting to do with that limited amount of the story available for adaptation. And there's a lot of nuance in the themes and messaging of the Nausicaa manga that I think even bests Princess Mononoke in terms of presentation and, I don't know, I guess gusto. I'm not a huge fan of Princess Mononoke. I don't like the people that say, oh, Princess Mononoke is like Nausicaa, but better. No, you just never read the fucking Nausicaa manga, you fucking plebeians, I swear to God. But back to the original 1984 Nausicaa feature before the completion of the manga, of course. This is a movie that's really been on my mind for this year. I kind of fell in love with this movie again in the kind of obsessive way I do with a lot of my favorite movies. And so it came to my attention revisiting Warriors of the Wind and its few derivatives. And I noticed some similarities between it and other translations of the film. Now, the title of this video is the Phantom English Translation of Nausicaa, because there is a Phantom English translation of Nausicaa still out there somewhere. We're gonna have to go all the way back to the original English language materials in the Japanese marketing campaign for the Nausicaa film. And yes, that's exactly what it was just called. The film was just called Nausicaa in English. That was the English title. It was not called Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. That was a later direct translation of the title that eventually stuck as Studio Ghibli's preferred English name for the film. But initially, Nausicaa was called just that, just Nausicaa. In fact, it's copyrighted as Nausicaa in English in the end credits of Warriors of the Wind. When I talk about this Phantom English subtitle translation, there is a script out there that has a number of familiar cues that you find in English language and foreign language adaptations of Nausicaa. For instance, a very integral part of Nausicaa is the Sea of Decay, the Fukai, the Sea of Corruption, as it's called in the English manga translation, or the Toxic Jungle, as it's called in both English versions. Now, it's called the Toxic Jungle in both English versions because that is what it's called in the Phantom English subtitle translation. The earliest mention of the name Toxic Jungle, I find, is on the English language Japanese B2 poster for Nausicaa, the portrait poster, which has a small English synopsis for the film, and refers to the Sea of Decay as the Toxic Jungle. And that's used in Warriors of the Wind.
We can eliminate the toxic jungle once and for all.
Can the toxic jungle be burned?
And the Buena Vista Sound Services stuff. So I believe the Hewitts that they never saw Warriors of the Wind, as much as I wanted to believe that that was an obvious lie. But no, I believe them now that they never saw Warriors of the Wind when redubbing Nausicaa for any sort of reference. To elaborate further, there's a couple of more instances where you can tell that there is one direct lineage from this early fandom translation. That would be during the opening expository text or the narrations of it. The 1987 Italian dub makes the reference that almost the entire planet has been covered with the toxic jungle. And so do the French subtitles that have been used on home video to this day. They make that same anecdote, which is not mentioned in the Japanese script. And another, I guess, adaptational liberty in the subtitle script is what Nausicaa says after she finds her father, King Jill, has been assassinated by the Tolmekians. And in the Japanese dialogue, she says this line that's kind of difficult to translate literally, or there's some issues with conveyance where she screams at them, which can either be translated as an interjection, like
You bastards!
or it's really just kind of a derogatory you, like Kisama or something like that. And ultimately, I think the meaning that was wanted to be, conveyed is, like a "how dare you" or "how could you," which is in fact what the Buena Vista dub uses for Nausicaa's line. Alison Lohman delivers this very spicy, long take of "how could you" at the Tolmekians, which I love.
How can you?
But in the Phantom English subtitle script, she does not say like a direct translation or interpretation of. She says, assassins at the Tolmekians that have just killed her father. Which I guess is kind of a logical adaptation of liberty if you don't want to bother with the nuances of that line or whatever.
Assassins?
Yeah, that's what a lot of early adaptations use. She screams assassins at the Tolmekians in the Italian dub, for instance. Assassini! Or in the 2000s French and German dubs, she also says assassins or murderers. It's not really until the Buena Vista dub that we have an actual thought-out interpretation of that's used. And so yeah, in the Phantom English subtitle script, we know that already differs significantly.
What are you babbling about, woman? Guards, take her away!